all, welcome back to the Dark Finds channel. We have a number of cases to get through today. I think there could have been 20 to look through, but I've narrowed it down to around 6. Some of the headlines are gruesome. We've got chainsaws, dismemberment, shootings. It's grim. It's a grim world out there. I think what ties it all is we never know how close we are to danger. We'll be going along with our ordinary life, and next minute, bang, you meet the wrong person. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's actually quite frightening when you actually look at these cases and see how many of them, were seconds away from disaster and didn't realise it. But a lot to get through here. Buckle up and we'll get going on the first video. So we're off to Ireland for our first case. This has been dominating the headlines the past few weeks as details keep emerging. It's a fairly grim case. We have a good idea now of what happened, but I'll read out the headline here before jumping into the case. So Michael Gaine's killer cut body into small parts, pushed through small gaps inches wide. Bit of a weird headline because it doesn't seem to read very right, but you often get that with the Mirror. But I'm going to go into the case here and you'll kind of get a better understanding of it. Gardaí are investigating the murder. For actually some of the more international listeners, the Gardaí is pretty much the Irish police service. So they're investigating the murder of Michael Gaine, and they recovered a chainsaw from his farmyard. Now, they believe that the chainsaw may have been used to dismember the 56-year-old farmer's body after he was murdered near his farm in Kenmare, County Kerry. The chainsaw was discovered hidden in the farmyard and brought to Forensic Science Ireland's laboratory to examine for DNA, etc., etc. So, yeah, pretty much, by all accounts, it's looking like the chainsaw was used. I don't know if it killed him. We don't have a huge amount of information on how he died, and it's simply because he was dismembered so badly with the chainsaw. So maybe the chainsaw, he was killed with it, or maybe it was just used to dismember. But what Gardaí do believe that Mr. Gaine was killed near the cowshed in his farmyard, 6 kilometres from Kenmare, soon after his last sighting of him at White's Centra shop in Kenmare, where he was captured at 9:48 a.m. on March 20th, purchasing phone credit. Now, just stop there for a minute also. And imagine, this is how close you are to death and you never even realise. You're just going out there getting milk in the shop, running to the grocery store. Like Michael Gaine here, you're just going in buying credit and, a few minutes later, you're going to be massacred with a chainsaw. Kind of crazy that we just never know what's around the next corner. And Michael Gaine certainly didn't, or he wouldn't have been going back to that farm if he knew what was lurking there for him. But yeah, it's kind of surreal to think you just really never know. Who you're going to bump into next and what they're going to do. And anyway, the Gardaí believe Mr. Gaine's killer then dismembered his body and disposed of his body parts in the slurry tank beneath the slatted unit where he kept his herd of more than 30 suckler cows over the winter months. Garda technical experts have been examining the concrete slats in the cowshed to see if any bear the sign of chainsaw cuttings. Okay, so looks like maybe he was dismembered in the cowshed. Almost all of the body has now been found, the source said. There may be tiny amount unrecovered, but in effect, the remains have been recovered. A significant amount of the remains are believed to have been found in fields across a 1,000-acre farm that had been spread with slurry taken from the tank. Oh my God. So this is what we're kind of realizing here. His body was dismembered. It was obviously put into these small gaps in the slurry tank, and then it was spread across this 1,000-acre farm. So you can imagine just how grim that is. There's bits of him, splurred out with the slurry all over the farm. The discoveries were made by specialist Gardaí from the Technical Bureau and the Water Unit, who combed large areas of the land as well as every inch of the large slurry tank. While they have not been formally identified, sources say the Gardaí are satisfied that the remains are Mr. Gaine's. Oh, that is just so grim. I wonder why. I'm going to skip through a bit of this article to see, did I have anyone in custody? So experts, just let me read this bit first. Experts reportedly combed through the thick sludge, oh Jesus, with poles in search of his body in case he had accidentally fallen into the slurry tank. But the search would not have been able to detect the small body parts. God, he must have been brutalized. A subsequent search of the slurry tank and farm was ordered on Friday after partial remains were found in at least two fields. Neighbours who were spreading slurry taken from the tank on Mr. Gaine's farmyard made the discovery. Okay, so it was the neighbours that discovered. Pieces of remains got stuck in the spreader, and when the neighbours examined them, they quickly called Gardaí. I think there was a bit of an arm or something blocking like the slurry shoe. It led to the arrest of a suspect on Sunday. He was detained on suspicion of murder for 24 hours, but released without charge from Killarney Garda Station late on Monday night. The suspect, who was in his 50s, was known to Mr. Gaine. The Gardaí say as the investigation is ongoing. Okay, so they had a suspect in. He was let go, but I don't think this is a crime. I don't think this is a crime that's going to be random. I think, by all accounts, you know, Mr. Gainey fell foul of someone anyway. And it's likely, and you know what, all these things tend to be likely over land. I think, any murders, a lot of murders I've seen in Ireland that tend to be in them rural areas or farm communities, tends to be over some sort of land grab or disputes over land. Yeah, and I think for being Irish anyway, I think land is because Catholics, Irish people weren't able to own land for years under British rule. That I think land is people owning land in Ireland. It's taken very serious and it's very coveted. So when disputes happen like this, yeah, again they can turn fairly murderous. So what we know here is he went out, bought phone credit, came home. There was obviously someone waiting for him on the farm. Don't know how he died, but we do know that he was dismembered with the chainsaw, shoved in through little slats in a slurry tank, spread across 1,000 acres. Neighbours found them, found bits of the body. And then when they checked the slurry tank as well, I think there was a bit of an arm in there. So really grim way for Mr. Gainey to go. Again, he was 56. Yeah, this is a grim one. Give us your thoughts below. I think more will come out on this, but it's just to probably flag it now. So we're off to India now for this next case. And the headline reads, "Woman stuffed in suitcase and thrown from train as commuter makes grim discovery." Ooh. So the body of a woman was found stuffed inside a suitcase near a railway bridge yesterday. The suitcase was thrown from a moving train, police believe. Okay, so maybe they have a witness there. Before it was found by a commuter, the lifeless body was the only thing inside the suitcase, making it difficult to identify the victim. Police originally believed that the body could be a 10-year-old girl, but it's since been claimed that the body might belong to a woman at least 18 years old. Okay, so what's going to happen with this case? That's grim. Why throw it off the train? Why not just bury it? Uh, what's the behavior going on there? Because it's like someone's going to find it. So there's a humiliation aspect of this, or there's something deeper. If they're just going to kill someone and try to get away with it, bury it. There's a statement going on here. That's it. Something deeper going on here, and it's either a serial killer looking for fame or the headlines, or it's some sort of gang or something. Trying to make a statement, or I don't know, could be wrong on both, but that's a strange thing to do. I'll continue. So after attending the scene at the Chapandura Railway Bridge in Bangalore, India, Surya City Police continued to try and identify the victim and piece together the grim details surrounding the death. Bangaluru's rural spokesperson said, "We're currently investigating the case. It seems to have been someone may have thrown the suitcase from a railway property, most likely from a moving train." Okay. Let me skip on. Yeah, the person. Yeah, actually, there's very little details on this case. It's very new, uh, but it is the images here are horrible. Uh, Meanwhile, yeah, this is actually connected. I had this up on the Dark Finds page there a few months ago. The 29-year-old mom who was discovered dismembered in a suitcase. I think it was India as well. And she was stuffed into luggage. I think the way that one went, investigators uh, found that it was a premeditated crime by the victim's estranged husband. Uh, and he admitted she was a beautician. He admitted murdering her. He confessed to killing her over resentment at the way she had treated him, claiming that she had only come to see him because she wanted to borrow money. The perpetrator reportedly prepared 1 million Indonesian rupiahs, £52, to lure the victim to the hotel before committing the crime. Bit of similarities there. Actually, and there's another one, isn't there? What did I read? There was a headline there. Another body, or a scientist was discovered in a suitcase. I think it was out in, let me see, Colombia. Yeah, body found dismembered in a suitcase. So what is that? That's three there within a month. What is going on with these suitcase murders? So I think more details coming on this. My take on this is that someone wants to make a statement. I don't think anyone would be. You just bury the body instead of throwing it off a moving train in a suitcase. Like, it's just begging to be found. So there's a fame spectacle here, or a statement spectacle. So again, this is very new. We'll probably get more on this. I'll give an update in a preview or in a future video if we get any details. We get a suspect, or even find out who the victim was. So more to come on this one. We'll go on to the next video. So we're off to North Carolina next. Apologies for that shite accent. But yeah, this one's wild. So fast food worker shoots co-worker in argument over burnt food. What the hell? Why are you bringing a gun to work? Mad. A worker at Popeye's restaurant. I love actually the Popeye's chicken. In Charlotte, North Carolina, has been shot dead at point blank range in what eyewitnesses say was an argument over burnt biscuits. Like, Jesus. A customer who witnessed the shooting says 22-year-old Rodney Wood, God, he's so young just to throw away your life. Over what? Over burnt biscuits. Like, but anyway, 22-year-old Rodney Wood got into a row over these burnt biscuits, an American savoury item much like the British scone. Yeah, eyewitnesses say the parent took the argument outside. Okay, so at least it wasn't in the kitchen, like when they're cooking food. But like, why are you jumping outside? And like, even if it does, like, Rodney Wood, he either had the gun on him, or then he had to go to his locker and get the gun. Like, either way, it's so premeditated, kind of here. For going outside and began shouting on the street over this burnt food. Woods allegedly took out the gun and shot the other employee twice. Jesus, he did. He put another bullet in him. Like, once you can maybe get off as he's not going to die and stuff, but like, to throw another bullet in him is wild. The altercation initially began inside the Popeyes location at around 6 p.m. on Sunday, May 11th. Woods has since been charged with attempted first-degree murder and assault with a deadly weapon with the intent to kill. So it has been reported that the bullets hit the victim. Oh, geez, the victim's name has not been released. That's a weird one. Wonder why they won't release his name. Again, yeah, maybe they don't have to. Normally they would. Like, normally you'd kind of lead with that. But okay, let's go back there. So the bullets hit the victim in the groin and chest. Oh, Jesus, shooting in the groin. I wonder which one went first. But like, the chest that's a kill shot. But yeah, the victim was rushed to Atrium Health. God, I have really bad pronunciation. Sorry. Atrium Health Carolina's Medical Center, where he underwent emergency surgery, but obviously passed away. Woods ran from Popeyes after the shooting, but authorities found him shortly after in the same shopping center. God, just stay at the scene. Like, if you're just going to linger around in the same shopping center. Uh, you're not trying to get away then. I don't know what that behaviour is. Uh, he told authorities that his co-worker had punched him in the face 3 times once they stepped outside, and he claimed that he fired 2 warning shots. That's interesting. A warning shot to the chest uh, that were not intended to be a fatal. Like, just shoot a gun into the air if you're trying to do a warning shot. You're not aiming at someone's groin and chest and pulling the trigger. But yeah, God, that's a sad one. 22 years old, like throwing his life away, and the other victim, whoever he is, we don't know his name or age or anything. But again, dead, life over, and over what? You know, burning a bit of food. Like obviously there was tensions and stuff maybe building up to it. Like we don't, you obviously never get the full story here. You're just reading the headline, you're looking at the news article, but obviously there was something brewing up, and there was something else going on in Woods' life anyway. I don't think anyone, has such a, emotional reaction over burning, biscuits or a bit of food, to bring someone out into a parking lot. Yeah, maybe the victim maybe did hit him 3 times, but like you don't need to pull out a gun, settle it, a few fists, like. But yeah, sad all the way around. Uh, Sad for all families anyway. But yeah, I think the lesson here is don't carry guns to work and don't use them. But yeah, on to the next one. Okay, our next case is in Australia. Not a murder or anything, but this one is, yeah, it's a weird one actually. Right, so I'll read out the headlines. Party Inferno. Woman 24 doused his friend in fuel and lights him on fire after he made a sexist jibe at party. Okay, this is weird. Uh, So, an Australian woman has pleaded guilty to setting her friend on fire, telling the court she felt overwhelmed by his presence after he was antagonistic and made misogynistic comments. Okay, so straight off the board, don't make misogynistic comments. Just don't be a weirdo. But also, just tell him he's a dickhead. Don't set him on fire. Like you're probably going to go to prison for this. I don't know. I don't know if he lives or dies, but either way, I think you're going to go to prison. Like, just tell him to fuck off. And maybe that's maybe easy for me to say. I don't know, but setting someone on fire just seems so extreme. Uh, okay, Corby Jean Walpole, 24, and Jake Loader, 23, were at a house party. Again, it's always like so much of this shit has alcohol involved. Like it was the same with that Jake Sanders there in one of the cases. Here again, like alcohol has a serious detrimental effect on society. You always just see the craziest stuff happening when there's alcohol involved. But anyway, they were at a house party when the arson took place, leaving one half of Loader's body burnt. Uh, the Australian broadcaster said Loader sustained burns to 55% of his body in the attack in January last year. Uh, Walpole claimed in court that Loader was being antagonistic towards her at the party in New South Wales, trying to wrestle her the entire night. Okay, that's weird. You don't be going around trying to wrestle women. Uh, or why? What's with this guy's game? Again, there's wrong behaviour on both parts here. So, but still setting someone on fire is just wild. He at one point told her that she should stay in the kitchen making scones. Okay, so this guy was a piece of shit. Uh, just really probably just misogynistic. I can kind of picture like you know these type of people, their sly remarks, stuff like that. So I kind of have a portrait of them already. So she should stay. He said she should stay in the kitchen making scones where she belonged, if she could not handle drinking with the boys. Oh, God, and alcohol's going to fuel all these bad choices now. So Walpole, who admitted in court to being drunk and high on cocaine, okay, so we've two toxins in here. You're not in your right mind. Left the table when they were drinking and retrieved a 5 litre container of petrol from the garage. Jesus Christ. I was thinking maybe she threw a bit of alcohol on him and threw a cigarette butt at him, but no, this is going for the jerry can. Whoa. She then poured it on Loader. Like, imagine what's happening there. Is he just sitting down next to me? She comes in, starts pouring on her head, on his head. Like, this is wild. And then off her head as well. So she poured it on Loader and reportedly waved the lighter around the air. Loader said, "Go on, do it." God, this guy is he is an idiot. Go on, do it. Don't be egging someone on when they're high on cocaine, drunk, and you're doused in petrol and they have a lighter. Like, use your frontal lobe. Just back down. Say you're sorry. Like, my Walpole then touched him with the lighter, setting him afire. After the arson attack, he was placed in a medical-induced coma for 8 days. Diffused the situation, like maybe he was high as well, maybe he was drunk and stuff like this. But this is horrible. Like, I don't know. It says friends in the headline. Were the friends? Was it, kind of just, I don't know. He underwent 10 operations and spent 72 days in a burn unit in Melbourne Hospital. Some of his sweat glands were burned off. Oh, leaving his body unable to regulate temperature. This is grim. This is grim, I have to be honest. As a result of the extensive epidermal damage he endured, he can no longer spend time in the sun. And he lives in Australia. That's going to be difficult. Maybe it's moving down. Maybe if he's in Melbourne, it's a bit colder down there. It might be something better. But anyway, this attack did not only hurt me, he said, it hurt everyone who cared about me. Okay, let me see what she got. So it was revealed in court that most of the group were heavily intoxicated and that Walpole had consumed cocaine. She said, "I was feeling overwhelmed and didn't know what to do." She also revealed she'd been abusing drugs and alcohol since a breakup in 2022. So Walpole said, "This day I feel horrible, remorseful, guilty for what I have done to Jake. Not only Jake, but his family, his loved ones, his mutual friends, anyone who's been impacted by the entire case." She added, "I would do anything to go back in time. No one deserves what happened to Jake, and I can only imagine the pain, both physically and emotional, that I have caused to his family." Walpole is due back in court this month for sentencing. Okay, so we don't know what she got yet. I can imagine there's prison time for this. Obviously, you can't be 100% sure, but yeah, so we'll have to see how this one plays out. I'll give an update maybe on the channel in a month. I'll put up a post, or if there's, I think we've covered more of the case. I'll just put up a post. I'll keep an eye on it. But it's a strange one. Just learn to shut your mouth, I suppose, is the moral of the story here, isn't it? So for our last video, we're going back to the US. We've actually a video to accompany this one. But I'll read out the headline here. So, "Stop Dead. Heart-stopping body cam vid shows hero cop gun down Vegas shooter who tried to commit gym massacre before his wife rifle jammed." Okay. So I'd say the footage of this will be sweet. So Daniel Ortega, 34, walked into the Las Vegas Athletic Club, presuming that's a gym, last Friday carrying a weapon. He initially approached an employee at the front desk before pacing around, surveillance footage shows. So, Jesus, that's eerie. Imagine being that, front of house staff, and you're just standing there, you're sitting behind the desk, probably on the computer, and next thing you look up and there's this, psycho walking around with a gun. He initially... after this, he exchanged words with another worker before suddenly... No, I wouldn't be exchanging words. I'd be getting the hell out of there. But anyway... with another worker before suddenly raising the gun to open fire. He offloaded 24 rounds in the gym lobby. 24 rounds. That is a lot. Killing a 31-year-old gym manager, Edgar Quinozes, and injuring another 3 people. So this guy was on the warpath. But at this point, his weapon jammed, mercifully preventing him from killing anyone else. Like, thank God for that. If that gun hadn't jammed, how many people would have died? I don't know what one of them, an AR rifle clip holds, but I can imagine it's a lot of bullets. And there was probably a packed gym floor. Imagine you're just mid pull up, and next to it, you catch one to the back like that, and you'd have headphones on. You mightn't even hear it. You could be just in there, doing your set, and next minute, just you get caught in the back. Like, that is horrible. Jeez, that's terrifying. That's a new fear unlocked now. I'm in the gym later today, but thankfully I'm not in America. It's far less likely the chance of here. So anyway, he is seen Heading out of the gym towards the car park where armed police officers have just arrived. One of the officers' body cam footage shows, okay, the nerve ending footage. Let me see. Cops noted that far more people could have died in the incident had Ortega's gun not jammed. Fortunately, this gentleman had a malfunction in his weapon, which eventually saved this from being a mass casualty event, Las Vegas police said. Officers are still working to establish a motive for the sudden violence. So there's no motive. This guy just went in with an assault rifle into a gym, and we don't know why. But anyway, let me play the video here. Yeah, there he is. Look, just walking around with it. Oh my God, imagine that guy walking by. I'd be running out of there. Oh, this is it. He's going to get done. Guns jammed. Yes. Get him. Get him. That's what you deserve. Ooh. So, again, no motive. Don't know why he did it. Why you just grab a rifle, go into a gym, unload 24 rounds, kill one person, wound three. And it could have been far worse other than the gun jammed. Why? Yeah, I don't know. He mustn't have left a note. Like, that was last Friday, so we should have more details by now. But scary moment. And I suppose, you know what, this winds up. Probably what the whole video has been. Like, how many seconds are we away from disaster? You know, without being cringy, and I'm going to be cringy, you know, live every moment nearly to the full, because, like, you don't know how many seconds, like, you don't know the next person that's coming to meet you, who they are, what their motives are. That car coming towards you, you know, a crane overhead, something lands and falls on you. Like, it's just, you're seconds from disaster at any time. That gym manager probably just thought, okay, I'm just sitting behind the desk here, probably on the computer, maybe sipping a bit of coffee, thinking, oh, when's this shift going to end? Come on, I want to go do something. We're in Vegas. I want to get to the casino. And next minute, poof, gone. So, the same with the Gaine, the farmer in Kerry, you know, out buying credit. Comes back to the farm and, you know, a while later he's spread across 1,000 acres of fields in little parts. Like, yeah, scary world out there. So stay vigilant. See you in the next video.